Okay, so someone asked me last time when I showed the weathering of a well car if I could actually show how I did it. So I've started again here. I've got two identical well cars except for the road number. So these are Walthers Proto, what are they? Gunderson rebuilt 40-foot well cars. Okay, so that's the two of them. And first things first, what I did, I took a good look at them and I thought they were lacking some detail. So what I did was I did some end details. So basically coupler cut bar and the airline hoses. And that's on both ends. And then I started looking for brake pipe detail and I couldn't find any photos or anything like that. So I just kind of winged it. There's the tank underneath here. So there's a line going from there into whatever the hell this is. I think that's the triple valve. I'm not sure. I did see one photo where the piping came down and then disappeared into the sidewell here. And so that's what I've kind of mimicked on both sides. The piping comes down, disappears, disappears on that side, and then that's on both ends. And then it goes across there into the, I'll call that the double valve. I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, so those are the details I added. And I also added on the reflective tape. So they came painted with reflective tape, but where's my tape? So Dan gave me the idea to use this stuff, so I've got enough yellow striping. And he also gave me the idea that I have smoke box graphics as well. It's a slightly different orange and a slightly different yellow, so using the two in combination makes one look older than the other. Kind of adds a bit more realism. But I went one step further than Dan, and I got the CP version too. So, and actually, just the white reflective too is on a lot of diesel locomotives and freight cars. So the CP one is a real pain in the ass to cut. You've got to do some pretty cool, well, pretty intricate and precise cutting and sticking to get the CP look. But anyway, I've got a lot of tape there to try that out and fail miserably and get it right. So I guess the first step that I did, I will get into. So I've taken the wheels off and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So this is my grime mix. I'm using XF68 and XF85, so that's NATO brown and rubber black. Following some advice from Boomer here, I got my new airbrush, and I promised myself the only thing going in it is diluted Tamiya paints. No more craft paint. I'm not dealing with that. So far I've had some good luck with this guy. And I'm just using 50% IPA. And I'm only going to need a titch here because I'm only doing the bottom wells of the well car. I'm going to use my paintbrush. I'm just going to pull out some brown. Oh, missed that one. Making a mess of things on camera here. And I'll pull out some black. And these mixes are not rich at all. Everybody says skim milk. This is watered down skim milk. I don't know. I'm just not as brave as them just yet with my airbrush. I'm still keeping it very, very thin. And so here's the first step, I guess, of painting. And I'll try and do this on camera. My amateur skills of paint airbrushing. So here we go. So I'm just trying to get even coverage underneath here for now. And this is just mimicking years of grime coming up from the tracks. And you got to make sure to get this guy here at the end because that's going to get a lot of kick up. I know. This mixture is way too much IPA, but I'll persevere. And the other thing that I'm making note of is this gap right there. So going into the actual well, I'm going to spray some grime right through this gap into the well, and that's going to also mimic kick up from from underneath. So that's one of the 4 done, and then I gotta switch it over and aim it and get it in there. I'm just using air now. Just using air to push that back down because there's too much IPA. Okay, and I'm gonna switch over to the other side and let the other one dry. I should mention this is a dual action airbrush, so I can just use air to dry things out and then apply paint as I need. So I'm just drying my first coat there. And I'll get back in there. Now I'll do the kick up on the inside of the well. Now you notice I'm not trying to get any on the outside of the car here, just keeping it contained within the well here, in the wheel, in the where the trucks are. Nothing on the outside. I'm getting a little bit on the bottom, that's fine. And this wouldn't take as long if I didn't thin that mixture down to basically water. But still working, so I'm going to go with it. And the one thing is, you don't have to be too concerned with this step either, because there's lots of other steps to fix what you may have screwed up on this one. Okay, I'm flush out, so I'm going to call that okay. Good enough. It's covered up the yellow, and it's got some grime underneath it. And this one I'm actually going to do as a newer one of the other one. So this is the one here that I want to show you here. I'm going to pause and then I'll show you this one. Okay, so I got everything tidied up from that first step there. This is obviously step 1. And actually, I forgot to mention that this had been dull coated before as well. So that's got one dull coat on it. And I'll just show you the final product here a bit. So this is just like 4 or 5 steps to get to this stage. So the wheels are done, the well's done, and the ends are done. It's still a bit wet, so I don't want to touch it too much. But yeah, I'll show you the other side. Anyway, that's the final product there. So I'm aiming to kind of duplicate this one a little bit, but everyone's going to be unique. Anyway, that's where I'm going with this one. So stick around. I'll show you the next steps. Cheers.